NFL Combine has come and gone, and the eye in the sky does not lie. So let me give you my breakdown on what quarterbacks and safeties have caught my attention in our first episode of Short Shots and Sleepers. Let's go. The NFL Combine is done in 2025. It is over. It is a wrap. And we're here to break down the NFL Combine and the draft prospects for 2025. So let's uncover who are the top prospects in all of the draft for NFL 2025 coming in Green Bay in late April. So we're going to do a rendition or a segment called Short Shots and Sleepers. We're going to tell you exactly who we feel like there's going to be a short shot, a guaranteed can't miss draft pick. And also who we feel like are going to be sleepers, guys you might get drafted later in the rounds that might end up being day one starters or perennial Pro Bowlers for your team and that you didn't know about going into the NFL draft. So like I said in the intro, we're going to be doing quarterbacks and safeties this week. We got a whole full schedule coming out this week, Monday through Friday. So be sure to subscribe to the channel to never miss an upload for that. We'll be dropping content each and every day. We're doing 2 positions a day. So we're going to round out with wide receivers and cornerbacks at the end of the week. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that content. But yes, get into his content as we're talking about here today. Like I said, this is our segment called Short Shots and Sleepers. And we're going to delve into the idea of who we feel like the best fits are for these guys once they get drafted or who they should get drafted by. So getting into the quarterbacks and the safeties was a really interesting group over the weekend. And actually, ironically enough, was more marveled by the safeties than I were the quarterbacks. But we'll get into that, and I'll tell you why exactly I feel that way. But yeah. But starting off with the quarterbacks, I would be remiss if I didn't say that the quarterbacks, for my money, are a work in progress in this draft. They are a work in progress in a lot of facets. You got 2 guys that are quote unquote household names, and there were guys that you feel like were going to be likely first rounders, and everybody else we just didn't know. I kind of fleshed out exactly what I think about the other guys that aren't your household names of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. But yeah, it's a lot to be desired in this draft class. I don't think that we're going to get spoiled like we've been getting spoiled in the last several years in regards to the draft classes we've had in the last 5 or 6 years, dating back to the 2000s draft class. But this class, it has some redeeming qualities, but yes, it's not like the previous draft classes we've had in the past few years. I.e. the Jaden Daniels of the world, the Caleb Williams, the Bo Nix, the Michael Penixes, and the Drake Mays. It's not that. It's not that. It's definitely not that. But there are some things that you can work with if you needed a quarterback. Some guy that's going to be able to come in and develop potentially into a NFL starter. But as far as star power, I would definitely say I would hold my angst or hold my expectations when it comes down to these guys, because I don't think they're going to be blowing the doors off the league from day one. I'm just going to be honest. But if you had to give your rating and you give your grade on who's going to be a sure shot, I think out of everybody that's in the eligible draft class of 2025, starting with the quarterbacks, I think you can go no other than you can stop right at Cam Ward when we get to short shots. I think Cam Ward is going to be it. Here's my short shot for 2025, and I think that when we talk about him, I really think that his upside, his potential, his dual threat ability. I mean, he's the prototypical quarterback for the NFL 2025. He's fast. He's a bigger athlete, 223 pounds, 6'2". Elite arm strength. He has elite dual threat ability. He's really good from an all platform perspective. When he throws the ball all platform, is really, really accurate. So yeah, I would say that if you had to bet on somebody in this draft class, Cam Ward would be your number 1 guy. I think Cam Ward would be the surest of shots when it comes down to quarterbacks. I think that he's going to be a starter for a team. He's going to go early in the draft. I think he's going to be a day 1 starter for a team, and I think that just his overall athleticism and his prowess from that perspective is going to be too much to not be able to put out there on the field from day 1. So I would definitely say that Cam Ward's most likely a sure shot, although I do have some questions about his decision making ability and his competitiveness, certain aspects. But on just when I look at his tape, but I think that, that aside, I think his raw talent is enough to say that he's probably gonna be the best out of this group of quarterbacks that are going to be a guarantee he's going to be drafted and play early. Now, how well he does and what his success rate is going to be all depends on where he lands. I think that you can say that for every quarterback in this draft. It really just depends on where they land. And I think his ideal spot, based upon who's drafted and who's needing a quarterback, I argue that he wouldn't go past 3. I think that he's going to be a giant if nothing else. I mean, he could be a Titan, he could be, a Brown. But I think that if they both, quote unquote, bet on Will Levis and get to the idea they want to the Cleveland Browns want to do somebody, pick somebody in free agency, a veteran more so than a rookie, then he could drop to 3, but I don't think he gets past that. I think Cam Ward's gonna be a number 1 quarterback taken off the board. Now, when you get down to sleepers, it's more interesting in that facet because I think that the sleepers are guys that you may or may not, think that will be on the people's radar when it comes down to who you think that might actually pop. Maybe 1 year, 2 year, 3, depending on where they land. But I think there's a couple of guys on my radar that, based upon what I saw on Saturday and what I looked at from a film perspective throughout the college football season, I think that these 2 guys might actually have some deep dark potential that could end up being a starter for a team, mid to late season, depending on where they land. But I think that they may not go first round, but I do believe that they have some redeeming qualities, and they probably the best of the rest when it comes down to who I think there could be sleepers for this draft class. And for starters, I really like Jackson Dart. I really do like Jackson Dart. I think that he has a lot of good qualities that quarterbacks and coaches love. I think that you say his overall poise, his arm strength, his underrated accuracy, and people don't really give him credit for. I think he has a confidence about him that oozes, NFL quarterback. I think it does. He will resonate in locker rooms. I think he will be a guy that people can lend into the idea that he's going to be there and deliver when the chips are down. So I think that just his overall makeup and his model. I think that if he was taken in the late first, early second round, maybe by the Steelers, Raiders, or Jets, potentially, maybe they take a big time name in the first round and they try to swoop back in the early second to get him. That they might hit it straight gold here. They might strike gold here. He might need a little time to develop into the pro style offense, but he definitely has some redeeming qualities. I think he's the best and brightest sleeper that they may have from this group. So I like Jackson Dart a lot. I really do. I think somebody that gets him, especially outside of the first round, is going to get steal. I think they compare him to, in certain degrees, to Jalen Hurts when he came out of college. So, yeah, I think that Jackson Dart is going to be one. I do like it's not a lot to like. He needs some development, but it's not a lot not to like about this kid. I think he's a good prospect. Another one guy I have on my radar is Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is a guy that I feel like this can be a successful NFL starter as well if given time. I think that although he can get a little off the rails in his decision making, which is really the real big question mark I have for him. If he can help and develop that and maybe mature in that aspect, I think he could be better off. But you can't deny his elite arm talent. He has great deep ball accuracy. Definitely has elite toughness in me. Hell, he played with an oblique injury for an extended period of time in his college career in his last season with Texas. So I got to give him credit for that. That definitely will resonate in locker rooms with players in the NFL level. So I do think that the next tier would be Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers in my money. If the Rams can, get their succession plan with him playing behind Stafford or him playing behind Russell Wilson, potentially in Pittsburgh, I think those are good fits. I think there's good fits. You can maybe and possibly hitch your wagon to the future of Quinn Ewers if you allow him to develop in time. Let him sit and watch. So yeah, I think those 3 guys are highly draftable guys. I think you get your money's worth. Now, moving on to the safeties, who I think is a short shot. Now, this group had me really excited. Of course, I'm a defensive coach. You know that. I love defensive ball, and these guys made me jump on my seat when I saw them, perform over the weekend and what I saw on film as I watched them even more closely after I saw what they did in the combine. So I have 2 that are short shots for me. I think that you can't mess with either one of these guys, and both of these guys have different skill sets, but they definitely will be productive day one. I think these guys are day one starters for sure. Well, let's start off with the top guy. Let's talk about Malachi Starks from Georgia. I think he's a day one starter. I think he has really, really high quality traits when it comes down to a deep third or deep half safety in this league. 6'1", 205. He ran a 4.5 40 at the combine. Really, really highly skilled and really athletic. He has elite coverage skills. He has elite ball hawking skills, and he has a really high IQ. Just the natural footwork of this kid alone made me jump out my seat when I saw him do drills. I said, this kid is going to fool a lot of quarterbacks on Sundays for sure. They're going to think they're going to have him beat, and he's going to turn his hips, and he's going to plant his foot. He's going to go get the football, and they're going to be pissed off because they would not think that he was going to be able to get to that ball, and he will. So understand that Malachi Starks is going to be a starter day one. It just depends on where he lands. I got the Bengals and the Panthers being, ideal spots for guys that need positional help. So I believe that he's going to be money from day one. If they draft him first round, you're going to get your money's worth for sure. I like this kid a lot, and a very, very good running friend on top of that. That's not to be just to peg him as a cover guy. He's a run stopper too. He definitely can get in the box and get nasty. So yeah, I definitely believe that he's going to be a day one starter for whoever gets him. But if you're a safety needy team, draft him and sleep well. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Now for the freak of the weekend, Nick Imawari. Okay, Nick Imawari. Remember that name. Remember that name. Because when I tell you this guy is a freak of nature, like he was crafted to play football, ladies and gentlemen. He really was. 6'3", 227 pounds. He ran a 4.38 40 at 6'3". He ran elite corner level speed at safety at 6'3", 227 pounds. Freakish athlete. He's a prototypical big nickel corner and slot corner, slot safety, however you want to use them. Now they utilized him and kind of comped him with Derwin James. I like it, but I think he's even bigger and faster than Derwin. I mean, me being a Chargers fan, I'm being honest. I think that he's a bigger and faster version of that. You literally put him anywhere and he will flourish. He can cover well in the slot. He can play deep half. He can play really good run support. He's really nasty in run support, so he can come up and hit. Listen, the 49ers, by replacing Hufanga most likely, letting Hufanga walk in free agency and getting him in the draft, that might be an upgrade. It might be an upgrade. Having this guy on the 49ers defense with Robert Saleh coaching that defense again, I absolutely love that fit. And if he don't fall to the Niners, Seahawks would be fools to let him go as well. They need somebody helping their back end, and he playing back there would definitely make the NFC West fearful from a quarterback perspective, because you don't want to face him at all in that space and have to always account for where he is, because he's going to give you problems. So Nick Imawari, ladies and gentlemen, he might be the steal of the draft. I'm just going to say it. He's that good. He's that good. And you don't carve out 6'3", 227 pound, 4.3 40 guys every day. You just don't. You just don't. And the fact that he can back it up on film speaks volumes to what he can and cannot do. So yes, remember that name. Remember that name. And to round it off for the sleepers, there's one guy, since I had two short shots, I'm gonna give you one sleeper. There's one guy that really jumped off the page for me as a sleeper that will likely get drafted probably day 2, day 3. But he could be a starter, depending on where he lands. I did really like his skill set. I really like what he does from a safety perspective. And a lot of guys don't know his name, but you may know it by the time the football starts to get played in the fall. So my guy, R.J. Mickens from Clemson. 6 foot, 210 pounds. He run a 4.49 40. Really good zone coverage, awareness and smarts in the back end, covering those deep routes and understanding route combinations. Very underrated covering man. He can cover man as well. Then people sleep on that idea and his skill set there. And he's a really good run defender as well. So again, he can play, all over the field. You can use him in a lot of different spots. You don't have to stick him just one place, and he can have to stay there. So I think he's gonna be a very versatile and very Swiss Army knife-like guy that you can plug and play from day one. I think the Bills could utilize some upgraded there safety with him and Cole Bishop. That would be a good tandem. The Ravens could use a guy. They probably get rid of Marcus Williams. He could fit there. And the Rams definitely need help on their back end as well. So the Rams get their hands on him as well. I think all those defensive coordinators would definitely be salivating at the mouth saying that I got a good steal in the late rounds, and he's going to play for me day one. That's for sure. So watch out for R.J. Mickens, man. I think he's going to be a really good fit. Really good fit. But boom. That's it, man. So that was the sleepers, and there was a short shots you have for quarterbacks and safeties, man. Drop your comments. Let me know how you feel about these guys, and if there's anybody else that I missed that you might want to look into, or you want me to look into that we can get deep dives on as well. Let me know. Like I said, drop it in the comments, hit that subscribe button as always. And until then, check out tomorrow's video. And until then, you always and forever. Got to step up to lock it down.